Hello, welcome back. I'm Daniel Stowell, editor of the IFTA e-newsletter, and we have with us today
Jaime
Mendoza.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being with us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What kind of therapist are you? What does that look like? Where are you from? What do you do?
Okay. I consider myself a family psychologist. I obtained my MFT in 1997.
Okay.
My doctorate in family psychology in 2002 from Azusa Pacific University.
All right. In California.
In California, yes. I was a professor there for a period of time. Then I moved to Egypt. The last 5 years I was in Egypt at the American University in Cairo. And then more recently, I'm at St. Matthew's Medical School in the Cayman Islands.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. So what kind of work do you specialize in?
So I am a professor. At this moment, I'm a professor of behavioral sciences. I always integrate systems theory into the work that I do. And at this point, it's even introducing it to medical students in their training because I believe it's such an important piece. However, I need to also make sure that it's within the USMLE sort of standards of information that they need to know versus just going out there and providing additional information. But overall, I historically have done family and couples work and training in wherever I have met, whether it's in the U.S., Egypt, and now in the Cayman Islands.
Okay. All right. So you came here to the conference to do a presentation.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about
that. Today I'm going to be presenting with my colleague on the work-family balance of Egyptian career mothers, which is very unique work that literally looks at, and because we interviewed professional women, we actually call them super women because of all the things that they end up doing, not only taking care of their education and their careers. They are the ones that are the high achievers. They achieve successfully at work. They are married. Most of them are married. All of them have children, and they're performing well. Even their own kids are overachievers in many cases. But there's one thing that we found out that was very common amongst them, and that's they sacrifice themselves to do this. And then, so we're talking about, so what should we do as clinicians when we are working with a career mother? Granted, our research is on Egyptian women, but we believe it happens anywhere across the world. When you have, whether it's a single income working woman who's climbing up the career ladder, but the sacrifices that they need to make, and we want to promote. So not only what should employers be doing, clinicians, educators, even as we do our couples work, how do we help our couples balance that out? And you'd be surprised, even in 2023, the differences of what men do and what women do, and what men think that we do, and what is the reality of it. So we're going to be talking about that in representation.
Okay.
Later on.
What inspired this?
I was living in Egypt. I was a professor of psychology in an American university in Cairo, and just the integration into the culture, and working with my students. And then after, as they graduated, they would come back and say, I have an interest in studying this, and because I believe that a systems therapist has this unique opportunity to view an individual from a systemic perspective, that it would catch my attention. And it initially started with, I was looking into marriages. How do you maintain marriages? And then how do career women also are part of that? So this became an offshoot, but it's really the credit goes to my colleague Nurhan Ali, who is right now a PsyD candidate, and it was hers because she's transitioned from the U.S. to Egypt, and that process they go through. Because let's be honest, I'm a man, and I have one perspective, but with hers it's just a more global perspective, and that's what caught my interest in this. And I think there is really, the Middle East is a rich field of studying, because some things that we think are unique to the U.S. are really not that unique.
Right.
And there are more similarities. I keep on going. There's a lot more similarities amongst all of us that I wish we would understand that. not only from the academic perspective, but more importantly, a relational perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of what is interesting, because I've done some work also in Latin America, and it's sort of just very consistent across the cultures.
Well, yeah, and it certainly demonstrates that gender roles in society are pervasive, regardless of what specifically is in each box, and the disenfranchisement, the disproportionate pressure that's put on women to
absolutely
do everything.
Absolutely, it is. It's phenomenal about what women do, and that's part of why we entitled our project Superwomen.
Mm-hmm.
The balance between career, family, and life,
Mm-hmm.
and how they are managing to succeed in it. So, and I think as systems psychologists, therapists, we have I go back to a unique perspective, because we could take it, whether it's culture, we could take just the dual relationship, we could take the contextual pieces, all those are unique pieces, because, and still in many programs, they are teaching an individual focus of psychology. I think we are way beyond that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Have you had any success or encouragement into a program working, that, or the people that want to move forward in the ways that you're trying to promote?
Yes. I'm like just centered on the Middle East and Egypt, because that's where I was at most recently.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is, yeah, they are hungry for information,
Mm-hmm.
and it really should not be a Westerner's point of view. It needs to, that's why I include individuals. In this case, my partner, she's Egyptian American, and that unique perspective from her angle. But even in other projects, I've always had Egyptians, because they provide a greater explanation of what's going on that helps me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't consider myself just American. I'm more multicultural, but I'm still learning.
Right.
And so as we all learn, then we all gain more information.
Yes, and I think the wisdom of making sure that you're grounded contextually where the work is being done, I think that is something that IFTA has taught me very well as I've gotten to talk to people working all over the world.
Yes.
You never know who you're going to talk to, but the cultural humility that is required to cross those lines is so important. Absolutely,
and that's why that's part of the reason why I like qualitative work, because it's just very phenomenological. That
Mm-hmm.
we go in with no expectations, and the information that we gather, it's mind blowing. In many instances, granted, it's hard work. It really is hard work, listening to stories, and some of those who have succeeded, but also those who have struggled along the way, and what they've done to get there. And my respect for really people just continues to grow.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much. Now let's end with a fun question.
All right.
So you can tell me a little bit about something that you like, or something that is personal to you. But we are at an international place. You've lived in multiple places. Yes. Where do you go for recreation, for fun, for vacation for yourself?
Oh my gosh. So I would say my current hobbies are scuba diving. And so I've been able to go to different places, whether it's in the Red Sea, in the Caribbean Sea, or the Pacific Ocean. But I also like paddleboarding.
Okay.
And again, they all seem to be related to water. So any water sport, I am very willing to go do it. I have my two daughters are here with me for this conference, and we are enjoying the sightseeing that we get to have in between sessions, or just the day before or after. I love it. I love meeting people and just doing different things, because just going across just the strait, the Gibraltar Strait into Morocco, just you look at two continents and you're in awe. It's very inspiring. So
wonderful.
That's about me.
Okay. Well, Jaime, thank you so much for being with us today, and I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, great. Thank you.